There are two principal groups of settlers in the West Bank. One are the religious Zionists, and who believe that once land has been taken, they cannot give it back. And they maintain a religious lifestyle, including adherence to the Jewish law. And then there are the ultra Orthodox Jews, the Haredi, the Hasidim, particular groups who have moved to the West Bank due to overcrowding in other ultra Orthodox areas and the option of affordable housing. And they they too would emphasize a strict adherence to religious study and observing, but often maintaining significantly more insular communities with minimal interaction with secular Israelis or with Palestinians. The there are two big examples of their communities in Modi'in Ilit and Beitar Ilit. There are also settlers who come from secular and non-Orthodox communities, uh, often motivated by nationalist ideology that sees the establishment and expansion of Jewish settlements in the West Bank as crucial to the security and identity of the State of Israel. They often belong to movements such as Gush Emunim, which emerged after the 1967 Six-Day War, advocating for Jewish settlement in all historical parts of Israel. Some are economic, not unlike the Haredi, who are moving simply because of the availability of affordable housing and government incentives, and they may not necessarily hold strong religious or ideological convictions, but are attracted to cheaper housing. And there are approximately 450,000 settlers in the West Bank, not including East Jerusalem, where another 200,000 have taken root. There are nearly 140,000, nearly 140 officially recognized settlements and about 100 outposts, which are smaller, not officially sanctioned by the Israeli government, but sometimes retroactively legalized. And these people are spreading throughout the legitimate Palestinian community. So as I say, they divide into two groups. There's one group which are sort of profoundly and ideologically influenced to seize land, and there's the other group dividing into the Haredi and the secular communities who are simply taking advantage of cheaper housing, even if in a rather strange place. Now, the Biden administration's recent sanctions yesterday against far-right Israeli organizations and illegal outposts in the West Bank represents a more firm stance against extremist violence and instability in the region. And Matthew Miller, who's a State Department spokesperson, has said the United States remains deeply concerned about extremist violence and instability in the West Bank, which undermines Israel's own security. This highlights the US commitment to not only regional stability but also Israel's long-term security interests. I think it's a good thing, but I'm sure there are many people in the settlements who will feel oppressed, and rightly so. They've been oppressing others for far too long. The sanctions specifically target entities like Lahava, described by the State Department as the largest violent extremist organization in Israel with over 10,000 members and illegal outposts that have disrupted Palestinian lives. Miller's statement says outposts like these have been used to disrupt grazing land, limit access to wells, and launch violent attacks against neighboring Palestinians, and it underscores the detrimental impact that these groups have had on any peace process. By imposing these measures, the Biden administration signals its frustration with the Israeli government's inaction, and Miller emphasizes the points. We strongly encourage the government of Israel to take immediate steps to hold these individuals and entities accountable. In the absence of such steps, we will continue to impose our own accountability measures, and this suggests a willingness on the part of the US to escalate responses if Israel doesn't do something internally. Human Rights Watch has praised these measures, recognizing them as the most extensive to date and calling for further action against the Israeli government itself. As Sarah Yeager from Human Rights Watch points out, now it's time for sanctions against the Israeli authorities that are approving and inciting. This perspective reflects a broader call for accountability on all levels, including state-sanctioned support for these extremist activities. Moreover, the financial implications are significant and will be significant. Richard Nephew, a former State Department official, says that the combined sanctions and the financial alerts create a toxic environment for the financial institutions involved with these entities, aiming to further deter engagement due to high compliance risks. This approach is designed to isolate and financially strain the targeted organizations and so curtail their invasive operations.